So we'll call the Board of County Commissioners back into session. We have Commissioner Bear and Commissioner Decker present. The purpose of the hearing this morning is to consider requests from Lake County Solid Waste to purchase some new equipment and new lease requests. So we have Stacy from Solid Waste, the director here, to outline the request for us. So take it away.
All right, good morning. Yeah, I'll start with the vehicles first. We have a fleet that is aging considerably. I think that was kind of a goal when we first got here, just kind of looking at our fleet, the disarray, kind of how things have not been on schedule for as replacement. We don't have any large equipment at this point in time that we're looking to purchase. We're still waiting on a large purchase of a rail truck. It's paid for, it's still coming. It just hasn't gotten here after a year and a half, but we have no future plans, at least this year, of purchasing a new one. But of this year, the funds in our budget, I budgeted $400,000 for replacement, and this is generally going to be for small transport vehicles and our shop truck vehicle, which is much older. It's a 2005 Dodge 1-ton. We're well over, I think we're around 235,000 on it. It is nickel and diming us to death. On top of that, we just want to look into a actual shop truck, box bed, mechanic vehicle, where he can store tools, have a lift, crane on the back for, the work that he does. And well overdue as far as that goes. So replacement of these vehicles, what we're looking at, I think if you saw the cover letter, 3 4x4 trucks, one all-wheel drive SUV for office staff. We have a Ford Explorer, or Explorer. I used to call them Explorers. We've looked around at some of our local lots in Ronan. There's something similar. I think we want to stick with an SUV of similar size. Actually, the little Ford Bronco all-wheel drive down there is fairly, I think it's 27,000. You look at some of the Chevys and even some of the Ford Equinox or something like that, they're even more expensive than. I was kind of surprised that the Ford Broncos were cheaper than that. But anyhow, I think we can get easily into one of those, with their discounts and stuff for under 30,000. The trucks that we've looked at our local lot, Chevy and Ford, for the half ton, 48,000, 47,000, somewhere in that range. So I think all in all, the 1-ton shop truck, we really will probably have to go out of the area to get what we really want or need. There's just not much out here. I think Brian did mention that he saw a chassis down at the local lot. But we would have to look into a box and mounting, and then you're looking at the crane and you're looking at this and that. And there's a lot of packages like in Idaho and down Missoula way that already have those packages put together.
So there's, that could be a regular cab?
It could
be, he would prefer a crew cab because he puts things inside there too.
Would an extended cab work?
Yeah.
Ford still makes extended cabs, which are usually a little cheaper.
Yeah.
Gas engine would work.
I think we're looking for a diesel.
Why?
Because we've got mainly diesel up there. We're running diesel trucks.
Yeah, that's an extra $9,000 that
Okay.
these new gas engines have a lot of power.
We do pull with that too.
It's a
Heavy load.
heavy loads.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So these other vehicles, Stacy, are they new or used?
These will be new vehicles.
They're new.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, that's part of this. I'm kind of shocked, that we do have some 2022 Fords, and it has to do with, why we're trying to switch to these part-time employees and the staffing and having them report to the sites at these rural locations, because we do have some 22 Fords that got 60,000 miles on them already, and it's ridiculous the amount of miles that we're putting on them. So I think eventually, we'll kind of settle down in that regard. So ultimately, high end of the scale, we're looking at 290K out of that 400,000. And the other 93,000, or I'm sorry, 110,000 that's left out there in that budget line. There's 93,000, this truck that we've ordered, from last year we still haven't paid that. We haven't received that truck yet, and that rail portion that goes on that chassis is another 93,000. Haven't paid that yet. So, I mean, technically there's rollover, but there's other stuff affecting my budget right now. Tara. So I'm gonna set that aside in regards to pay that. So that's kind of where we're at with the vehicle portion of it.
So on the 3 4x4s, what are they used for?
Those are primarily out to site sort of vehicles, around the yard sort of vehicles.
Are they used for towing?
Some of them will be.
What size?
Not to, these are full size. They don't have to be.
Well, I was gonna say, cause if you get like a Ranger or a Colorado,
Right.
you can get a well-equipped little rig for about $40,000 and even less.
Right.
They're,
I'm all for that. Yeah,
that would work.
yeah.
Okay, cause I think we could knock some price off some of that.
Yeah, because we still have the full size Fords and Dodge.
Well, those 22s were actually set up so you could pull a trailer if you had to.
Yeah.
They got the package on them and stuff, and
So, yeah, if we wanted to get a couple of those smaller ones, that would work just fine. It seems like, I didn't notice a whole lot of difference between those mid-size and the large, but yeah, if it saves us 10 grand or 8 grand even, that'd be great. Yeah. I hadn't looked into those a whole lot, but
they just sold a loaded LT in a Colorado. Leather seats, Bose stereo. It was really loaded up and it was $45,000.
really,
Yeah,
that's excellent. Okay.
That was Ronan.
yeah. So you get like, they make a work truck package that you can still get the big 4-cylinder in that's 430 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah.
Which is more than a Chevy V8.
Really?
Ford
Yeah.
V8. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm all for it. I guess, do we have any more discussion on these or?
So then the new lease for the,
Yeah.
um, 930 disc loader,
So the 930 high lift loader, this is an 06, so 18 years old. We probably had I think we had a rebuild on it around 10,000 hours.
Yep.
So we're about, and that's about suggested rebuild time on those. They are pretty spendy rebuilds, on all of CAT's equipment, but we're also getting to the point of if you're gonna get rid of a cat equipment and it's had a rebuild, this is kind of the time to get rid of it. Otherwise, when you get to a second rebuild, the life of that piece of machinery is pretty much toast. I mean, there's not a whole lot of value, resale value left in it. And right now, we're actually pretty well down there as it is. It is starting to nickel and dime us. We bought some spendy wheels and tires for it last year. Great investment. We can get a trade-in right now with that. So what they'll do is they'll bring it, they're gonna give us a discount, or they're basically gonna take the price of the wheels and tires that they deliver it on off. They put these the ones we bought back on our new machine. So
It's a special setup for compacting out there in stuff.
and this is the workhorse of our fleet. I mean, this is the machine that just runs 24. I mean, if we're open, it is running. So when it goes down, we all kind of, everybody stops. So right now, and isn't this the machine that has the oil testing
Yes.
issues? Yeah, every time we have Cat comes out and does a service on it, we get the oil test back and we have warnings on that because they will send us, generally it's like something's going wrong kind of in the engine, or there are issues in your engine. Every time we have an oil change, we get these, and some people tell us, oh, don't worry about it, increase your oil changes. But we're seeing those every time, and it's kind of like, we just don't want something to hit the fan and then we're screwed. Strike that from the record. So the trade-in value, I think right now, what we're looking at is probably 40 to 50K. For this machine. It's come down a lot in value, but I think we can still get something for it. 40K is being really conservative. I think we could push probably over 50K when it comes down to what Cat will give us for it. The new lease on this, and I have worked this into the budget with Tara last week or two, is $42,781 annually. Obviously that will drop a little bit with the trade-in. That's for 5 years. And then there's $100,000 balloon payment at the end of that for the 6th year. And then we'll own it outright. And that does come with a service package.
So if they gave us 50 for that or whatever we could get, could we finance this in a way you could still afford to not have to have that balloon on the end?
We could sure talk to them about it.
Because that would save quite a bit in interest over the course.
Yeah.
Talking about this kind of money.
We could definitely talk to them about it. The other thing I would like to add, and I did not send the paperwork on it, is with this machine and with the trade-in value being what it is, for snow removal in that whole yard, we've been using a Kubota tractor that is severely undersized for that. We've already rebuilt the transmission on it once because it's been pushing snow. This is a snow pusher, and with the attachment and the pusher on it, I think it's a 16-foot. Or is this a 12-foot?
Oh.
This is a 12-foot pusher. It's $20,500 for this pusher. So we'll be able to push that whole yard. I think with the savings of the trade-in and this and that, I think this would be a wise investment in regards to that. We do a lot of snow pushing on that yard, so.
Well, that's not for what you talked about, that Kubota,
Yeah.
I thought you used something else.
Yeah, well, we have used the front bucket of the loader before, but it doesn't do a great job. It wears out. We buy those front pushers for the floor and the garbage, and they're about $2,000 a piece, and rubbing those on the asphalt just wears them down big time, but.
I guess we're looking, I mean, we're talking about money here.
Mhm.
Where are we with the floor? That, in getting that replaced or?
Really, what we're kind of working on right there is just finalizing all the loan stuff, the RD loan, and getting all that finalized. Once we get that finalized,
That'll be in our overall project.
right. Once we get that set and we can move forward with that, then we'll go ahead and go out for bids on that.
So what do you think of this, Tara?
I think it's fine, because I think all of this is already in the budget you gave me. But if, now you might have to rework it a little bit, right? If you're gonna do the 100,000 instead of the 55.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, even if
Do
the
what it looks
trade-in,
like right now. And then you can,
even if the trade-in went towards the balloon, it would cut the balloon in half. So you basically have 6 payments instead of 5 in a balloon.
right, have you rework that. I also redid, it took me forever yesterday, but I redid all of the payroll stuff. I have a new spreadsheet for you if you want to look at it, just in case. I think you're pretty on, but since what the spreadsheet I originally gave you didn't have all the raises that everybody just got, like the union employees with all that. No, that's in there. Everybody that already got it anyway.
So the loader, you lease it for 5 years and then purchase it after that.
Under the lease, they maintain it and stuff.
Mhm. After that,
Yeah.
we'd be responsible for it.
Well, I think, gonna keep operating, you have to have the equipment to keep doing what you need to do.
Have you visited with any of the other board members about this yet?
Just when we brought it up during the board meeting, we talked about lease payments and, possibly purchasing outright. I just feel right now, I don't really feel comfortable in doing an outright purchase. I don't think our budget really supports doing an outright purchase right now. I think it's more important that we keep the capital in the budget, so.
So if you did an outright purchase, then you pay the full amount up front, or would you finance it over 10 years, or?
Yeah, that would be an outright purchase,
Yeah.
full price, which actually, I mean, that's. So. Yeah, over the life of the 6 years is 313,900, so basically 314. An outright purchase would be 259. So you're looking at 54,000 in interest. Over 6 years.
But with the lease, you get the maintenance.
You'd probably end up having to buy a package.
Yeah.
Which would offset that a little bit.
Well, if you bought it outright, the other vehicles would have to, or at least some of them would have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean. I think. Even if we looked into maybe even next year. Paying that balloon, doing an extra payment, paying that balloon and getting it out of the way. You know, trying to get it at the front end of the process, obviously.
I just make sure that it's, lease is written up that you're not penalized for.
Right. Yeah, yeah, and we'll sit down and work some of those details out.
Well, your budget's different than the rest of ours,
Yeah, and I feel for. Sure.
but we're gonna make you hurt too, don't worry.
We already did.
Well, this is set up for an action item today.
Well, I would make a motion to approve the request.
I'll second it.
Appreciate it.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the solid waste request for the replacement of vehicles, and I guess also the lease of the loader.
Yeah.
So we have a motion as a second. Any more discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
I'll get with the dealers right away.
Okay.
And I'll check on that crew cab. They have a 1-ton crew cab Dodge sitting down there now. And I'll check and see if our fleet rate's better than the rebates they've got on some of that stuff now. And,
Yeah, I definitely think we wanna go, diesel on the,
if it's gonna be pulling, if it's just carrying stuff, the gas engines they have now are amazing. But if you're gonna be pulling a trailer and stuff, then a rig that size, you need a diesel.
we load that big Kubota on there and big dually axle trailers and, yeah, it definitely, it needs to be diesel. But
So we'll recess the commission.